Hi there, I'm Ken Thompson from Dashboard Simulations. People often ask me, what are the things that you must not get wrong when you're running some kind of group learning or group scenario event? So what I've done is I've come up with a checklist of 10 things, any of which are missing, then there's a risk that the whole event might not achieve its objectives. Now, before we start, I'm going to have to assume that the basics are correct. For example, if you're using a game, the game is fit for purpose and works in the right difficulty level, or if you're using technology, the technology's been tested. So we're not talking about the basics, we're talking about the other things that you might miss. So let's have a look at the things that from my experience over the last 10 years are the most important. The first thing is the learning objectives must be clear and they must be realistic. You must have a good idea what learning you want people to take away from the event. If you haven't got that, then all you're doing is playing a game or having fun together. Secondly, you need what I call business leadership support. The leadership of the business must be supporting you in a visible way, which might mean they have to participate in the event in some way. They might need to introduce it so that people see that this is something our leadership are expecting us to take seriously. So you need business leadership event support appropriate to the nature of the event. The third thing that's vital is the group you're working with. You must have defined who you're working with. You must know the individuals. They must be all in the same target zone. They mustn't be too diverse for you to be able to address them as a group. So the target group is absolutely vital. Number 4, I've called it the group disposition. The group must be in the room in the right frame of mind. They must have the right level of expectations. They must also be not sitting in a totally passive mood, because any kind of experiential learning requires their participation. So you must have set up the group with the right and realistic level of expectations. Fifthly, and fairly obviously, but often not addressed, the venue must be correct. The layout of the seating must be correct. If you're running a team event, you must be able to split the group into teams. You might need breakout rooms. They must all be able to see the screen. There must be space to breathe. It can't be overly clammy, and there must be natural light. And you must have good facilities in the breaks so that people feel they are genuinely refreshed in the breaks and come back ready to participate. Number 6, you need to have enough time. If you don't have enough time, everything will be rushed and people will go out of the room feeling harried and they will not have learned as much as they need to learn. If you've too much time available and you end up stretching it, that becomes very noticeable as well. So you need to have planned the right amount of time available. 7th, and probably one of the most important, is you must have the facilitation support you require. If you have multiple teams, you must have facilitators who know how to work with teams, know how to get people to participate, know how to facilitate the debrief sessions at the end of each round, and also facilitators who can say, this isn't working, we need to change it. So you need to have some degree of flexibility. The difficulty level must be right. If it's too difficult, people will go away feeling battered. If it's too easy, people will go away feeling patronized. And you need to have tested this out with representative people who look a bit like the target group. The stress level must be right, and generally in this kind of event, you'll stress people by changing the rules, giving new information, or playing with the times to put them under time pressure. It needs to be the right level of stress. Some people think the more stress the better, but that's not actually true. If you overstress people, you'll leave them going away with a bad experience. And some of these events can actually appear torture to some of the participants, or they're probably afraid to tell you that. So you need the right level of stress. And finally, if this is to be a learning event, there needs to be time built in for reflection. There needs to be time built in for them to reflect as a group, to discuss as a group, possibly to present back what they've learned as a group, but also to reflect as individuals and also to commit to whatever they're going to do in terms of going back to the workplace. So if early on in an event you pay attention to these 10 factors, then you will most likely have a very successful game-based learning event.